Do creatures over 100 meters long really exist in the vast oceans? Did the age of exploration tip the delicate balance between mankind and the monsters of the deep? Are these entities unknown species, or ancient giants that never truly vanished? Hi everyone, welcome to the World in 10-Minute series. Today, we're diving into something that might just keep you awake tonight. Deep sea monsters. Starting in the 15th century, when the age of exploration began, tales of enormous sea beasts started to spread across the globe. But those who truly saw them were as rare as phoenix feathers or unicorn horns. Today, let's talk about some of the most famous events tied to legendary sea monsters. The Kraken, the most famous sea monster in history. Perhaps the most well-known sea creature in history is the Kraken of the North Sea. According to tales passed among 15th century sailors, a fishing vessel once encountered what seemed to be an uncharted island while sailing through the waters off Norway. The captain ordered 2 crew members to row a small boat to the island and investigate. They found it completely barren. No plants, no trees, just a huge bare rock sticking out of the water. But when they returned to their boat and glanced back, the island had vanished. In the years that followed, numerous shipwrecks were reported in the Norwegian Sea. Survivors spoke of being attacked by an unknown sea monster over 100 meters long, with a body as large as an island and massive, powerful tentacles covered in suction cups and razor-sharp barbs. This creature could crush ships with ease and drag everything into the abyss. Over time, locals gave this terrifying creature a name, Kraken, borrowed from Norse mythology, where it referred to a legendary sea monster of immense size. As science progressed, marine biologists began analyzing these ancient tales. Many now believe the Kraken might have been inspired by the giant squid or the even more mysterious colossal squid. We mentioned in a previous episode that the largest verified giant squid ever discovered measured 18 meters in length. But many scientists in marine biology believe that much larger squids exist in the deepest parts of the ocean, far beyond what we've seen. The colossal squid is even more enigmatic. So far, we've only discovered juveniles under 10 meters, and strangely, all of them have been female. Following the usual biological pattern, the males might be even larger. So it's not entirely impossible that in the deepest trenches, thousands of meters below the surface, there are squids or cephalopods measuring over 100 meters long. From this perspective, the Kraken may not be just a myth. In Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, there's a scene where the Kraken attacks a ship. That sheer sense of terror, of being utterly powerless against such a beast, is chilling even on screen. But that's still just folklore. Let's now take a look at a documented sea monster encounter. The Stronsay Beast, a real sea monster? One of the earliest documented modern encounters with a sea monster occurred over 200 years ago, on September 25, 1808. A hurricane had just passed over Stronsay Island in the UK. After the storm, a massive sea creature's corpse washed ashore. Witnesses described it as a huge, snake-like beast. At the time, photography hadn't been invented yet, so everything had to be passed on through first-hand descriptions. A nobleman named Sir Alexander Gibson, an early researcher of mysterious creatures, gathered the eyewitness accounts and produced this drawing of the beast. The fishermen who first found it even measured it. They noted that the tail was missing, so the full length remains unknown. But the remaining body measured 55 feet, or 16.8 meters, a truly monstrous size, even by marine standards. It reportedly resembled the Loch Ness Monster. The head was heavily decayed and somewhat resembled a sheep's skull. Its skin was gray, thick, and elastic, around 5 centimeters thick. But here's where it gets eerie. If you touch the skin from head to tail, it felt smooth and silky, like velvet. But if you ran your hand from tail to head, it felt rough and prickly, almost like it had tiny backward-facing spines. And perhaps the strangest detail, on the beast's underbelly, there were 3 pairs of limbs, a total of 6 legs. This trait is incredibly rare on Earth. Aside from insects, almost no animal has 3 pairs of legs. On its back, long bristle-like brown hair grew like steel needles, stretching from its neck all the way to the tail, a bit like a dinosaur. At night, these bristles were said to glow with an eerie light, almost like phosphorescence. When this creature washed up on shore, its body was severely decomposed and its insides were spilled out. Witnesses said the flesh didn't look like fish meat, but more like beef, with very clear grain lines. Later on, experts in unknown creatures from the British Royal Research Group analyzed all available evidence and came up with a theory. This might have been an enormous, rare sea serpent, but there was still one problem. Sea serpents don't have 3 pairs of legs. So what exactly was it? Even to this day, no one can give a definitive answer. In Europe, since the 15th century, there have been frequent reports of giant sea serpent sightings. But most were passed down by word of mouth, with no concrete evidence. This case, however, was the first documented incident with actual physical remains to examine. And from that point on, people became even more convinced that the mysterious oceans might still be hiding creatures we've never imagined. The Zuyo Maru Sea Monster Incident. The Zuyo Maru was a Japanese trawling vessel. We all know that trawling involves dragging a large net through the ocean to scoop up all sorts of marine life. On April the 25th, 1977, the Zuyo Maru was fishing off the coast of New Zealand, about 50 kilometers east of Christchurch. As the crew hauled up a net from 300 meters deep, they were shocked when, along with the usual catch, they pulled up the rotting corpse of a massive unknown creature. According to accounts, although the body was heavily decomposed, the overall structure, including skin, muscle texture, and bones, was still visible. It looked like the creature had been dead for less than a month. It emitted a strong, nauseating odor that none of the crew had ever smelled before. One crew member managed to take 4 photographs, which we still have today. In the photos, you can see the creature had a long neck, a small head, and a large torso, but its internal organs were completely missing, most likely eaten by other marine animals. Its belly featured 4 large fins, and the overall shape resembled the legendary Loch Ness Monster, or a kind of serpentine creature. The total length was about 10 meters, 2 meters for the neck and head, 6 meters for the main body, and 2 meters for the tail. According to reports, the bones were not hard like most land animals. They were cartilage-like, but still thick and sturdy. Just the neck bones were nearly 20 centimeters in diameter. Now, this could have been a huge opportunity for scientific discovery, but unfortunately, the ship's captain, Akira Tanaka, made a decision that many later regretted. He believed the horrible smell of the corpse might spoil the 2 billion yen worth of seafood on board, which would be around 10 million RMB at the time. He also considered it a bad omen to have hauled up such a strange, decomposing creature. So he ordered the corpse to be thrown back into the sea. The only remaining evidence? Those 4 photographs snapped by a crew member named Michihiko Ueno, just before the creature was dumped overboard. When the Zuyo Maru returned to Japan and reported the incident, it sparked national outrage. Marine biologists across the country condemned Captain Tanaka, accusing him of throwing away what could have been a national treasure. Some even called it a national disgrace and a failure of Japanese education. After the news spread, several countries rushed to send out ships to search for the creature's remains. According to some rumors, it was a Russian vessel that finally recovered the bones, and the remains were taken to a classified research facility in Russia. But whether that's true, no one really knows. In recent years, the most popular theory is that the Zuyo Maru monster was actually the decayed body of a frilled shark, also known as a living fossil. Frilled sharks are ancient deep-sea sharks that use a method of passive feeding, swimming slowly with their mouths open, catching anything that swims in. This would explain why its body resembled the net trawling method of fishing. But there are still inconsistencies. 1. The body proportions don't match. The creature was reportedly a 2:6:2 ratio, head, body, tail, while frilled sharks have different measurements. 2. Frilled sharks have subcutaneous fat, which the mysterious corpse lacked.